Haha, funny title. F you. This literally started as a spurg out to my buddy Nick, who asked about whether or not the Locust are humans, and I had such a fun time getting half the facts wrong while rambling and repeating myself, missing details, and getting sidetracked because I was also playing Gears Reloaded with Brian at the time, and the goddamn wretch screams are so loud and common that they literally stun lock you out of speaking IRL. Left, got it. There was a bunch of... Will you shut up? Why are you still yelling? Then I started thinking about genuinely doing a lore video in the vein of Pancreas No Work, because nothing that I do here is original. I don't know what the fuck my channel really is anymore either, and the amount of effort I'm putting into this is really too much for me to just have done something fun, because I'm gonna get like 10 to 15 views on this thing. But this channel is for my hyperfixations, for better or worse. Also, because Gears of War E-Day doesn't actually have an official release date, I was expecting it to be sometime in November of 2026, because that'd be the 20-year anniversary of the original Gears game. But with GTA 6 getting delayed till November, I don't see them doing that. So I figure this would be a nice thing to start doing, and maybe build up a bit of a background catalog of information to learn before getting back into an official Gears game that's new. So before we really start, I do want to say that there's an emphasis on intro. I am attempting to establish a baseline to work from, since I kind of want to make more of these videos, and I'm also using my uninformed friends as the ideal demographic. Angel hasn't played a minute of Gears, and I want to teach him a thing or two about the world, because it's depressing as all fuck and incredibly fucking metal, but I can't just jump straight into shit like Heart Leeches or the Trinity of Worms raw. So think of this video like a primer. If you want more specific, deeper lore, just wait a bit. Or if you're watching this a couple months later, I'll probably get another video in this series up somewhere on the channel. I will also not be discussing anything from after Gears of War 3 in this video. 17 AE is the cutoff point for any research that I did. Post-Lambent Pandemic Sarah is what I and my team of researchers have decided to be beyond basic lore. Alright, without further ado, let's fucking do this. What are the Gears of War? It's a mild pun, but in the simplest terms, Gears are soldiers in the COG armed forces, specifically the Army, since warfare was almost exclusively land-based up until right around the end of the Pendulum Wars. What is the COG? The COG is the Coalition of Ordered Governments, a highly militarized society made up of multiple nations on the planet Sarah. They are the dominant superpower of the planet after defeating the UIR during the Pendulum Wars. The organized parts of humanity come the Locust War, for all intents and purposes, however. What are the Pendulum Wars? The Pendulum Wars are a war between the COG and the UIR for control of an incredibly powerful fuel source called Emulsion. Think oil wars in modern day. They were ended by the creation of an orbital weapons platform called the Hammer of Dawn, which is also powered by Emulsion. What is Emulsion? The glowy yellow liquid you see all over the place, incredibly volatile and harnessed as a fuel source through the light mass process, very valuable and very dangerous. What is the UIR? The Union of Independent Republics, basically the USSR of Sarah. They are the COG's enemy up until the end of the Pendulum Wars. What is Sarah? The planet that Gears takes place on. It's Earth adjacent. Fun fact, we don't have an official, globe or map of the entirety of Sarah. And that's actually intentional because when they were creating the Gears of War games, they wanted to avoid showing a definitive map so that they could leave corners of the world open for exploration in future video games, which explains, how the globe-trotting aspect of Gears 5 came about. What is the Hammer of Dawn? The ultimate trump card in military technology and power, a literal orbital space laser capable of destroying multiple cities en masse. And it very much did do that because the COG are a fascistic military autocracy and would rather scorched earth their own people than let the Locust Horde take land from them. What is the Locust Horde? A subterranean race of gray-skinned humanoids who invaded the surface on E-Day, or Emergence Day, wiping out 25% of the planet's human population in a day. They are led by this lady. Who is she? Queen Mira, Queen of the Locust Horde. She's human? Yep. So then why does she able... Don't worry about it, alright? What about the guy with the do-rag? That is Sergeant Marcus Phoenix. Ex-prisoner, leader of Delta Squad, the main character, and player one, mostly. A very get-shit-done kind of man with an incredibly significant legacy preceding him. And what about that chainsaw gun? That is the Mark II Lancer Assault Rifle, the standard-issue rifle for COG Gears come the Locust War. Low damage, high rate of fire, relatively accurate, reliable, and one of the most iconic weapons in any video game ever. Can you get more metal than a built-in chainsaw bayonet on the most common gun in circulation for your military force? Marcus's dad, Adam Phoenix, designed it. Marcus's dad? Yes. Marcus's dad. He's very important, but he deserves his own video. Just keep in mind that he was a scientist, a military scientist, and he developed the Hammer of Dawn, the Lancer. He knew a lot more than he chose to share, and him and Marcus have a very strained relationship. So if Marcus is player 1, what about player 2? That would be Dominic Santiago, or Dom, Marcus's best friend and non-biological brother. Honestly, kind of a blank slate of a character in the games. Not in a bad way, just kind of bland compared to the rest of Delta. So, well, what about the rest of Delta Squad? There's Private Augustus Cole, the Cole Train, unceasingly positive and incredibly supportive. Was a thrashball star, it's like football, don't worry about it. Before E-Day, genuinely the best in the world, made millions playing. A ray of light in the nightmare hellfuck that is Sarah. Also best friends with our final member of Delta, Damon Baird. I want to say he's a corporal, but his rank is actually a plot point of judgment, so he just gets a name for now. Baird is the tech guy of the group, incredibly intelligent and capable in multiple scientific fields, but equally antisocial. Very sarcastic with a horrible attitude. It's very hard to get Baird to hold his tongue about any situation, and he's often gotten decked by his friends for crossing a line. The only person who can routinely put up with him without cracking is Cole, because Augustus Cole is a saint, and we all wish we could be as good of a person as him. Is there anybody else that matters? Quite a few, actually. There's Colonel Hoffman, the military leader of the COG, Chairman Prescott, the political leader, Anya Stroud, a COG comms officer with a special interest in Delta Squad. There's Kim, Ty, Dizzy, Sam, the Carmine family, Bernie, Maria, Jace, Jack, a bunch of fucking people. And all of them are part of the COG. There are also a couple of stranded characters. What about the Locust? Are there any significant Locust characters? Oh, for sure. Rom, Scourge, Srac, and Jermad, just to name a few. Mira as well, obviously. Most of their characterization comes from subpar boss fights and one comic book that I really, really like, Rise of Rom. But I'll go into detail about that at a later date in a future video. So why are the COG and the Locust at war? That is an incredibly important question that is not fully understood until the second game, where we really get into lambency. But the easy answer is because the Locust invaded the surface, and Sarah has known naught but conflict for a millennia, honestly even before a millennia. So, war is a constant. It's the solution to everything. Why is everybody so jacked? It's an accidental design decision, funnily enough, but it also ultimately helped tell a story all its own, eventually. The militaristic and incredibly depleted nature of the COG and humanity at large means that serving active duty military personnel are second in value only to pregnant women who are serving in their own way. That means they get fed, the high nutrient valuable stuff. Stranded, on the other hand, do not, as they are not doing their part to contribute to society, at least in the eyes of the COG. Also, multiplayer gameplay concession, if the Locusts are these big, meaty, scaly fuckers, the humans have to be the same size for hitbox and whatnot. What are the stranded? Basically anybody that isn't under the protection of the COG, either by choice or not. They're all human, but they are fucked. It's like homeless on a completely different level. You mentioned the Lancer earlier. Are there any other cool weapons? There's quite a few, actually, depending on which game. There's the Gnasher, the Hammer Burst, the Long Shot, the Boom Shot, Torque Bow, Mulcher, Snub Pistol, Bolt Hawk, Gorgon Pistol, Retro Lancer, the various types of grenade. There's the One Shot, the Mortar, the Vulcan, on and on and on through the years. If you can think of a weapon you've seen in any standard shooter, Gears has an equivalent somewhere in the catalog, along with a handful of wholly unique choices that all fit the same vibe the Lancer gives off. What are these monsters that I keep seeing all over the place? So those are creatures that the Locust have either mutated or tamed to become utilized as a part of their military might. Some of them were domesticated and hunted, and they were food sources, and have just become, like, mounts that they use now. Others were created by a geneticist of the Locust named Ukon, who did some fuck shit, and now you get the Brumok. There's a lot of them, and I want to do a video on that as well. Like, doing the native creatures of Sarah is an idea that I have, and I think that there's a lot of cool shit to go into there, but the Locusts are fucked up. Any last tidbit of information you want to convey before you end the video? I think that's it. I think it's a good starting point. I wanted to do a couple of other things, but my team of researchers has determined that most of that is extra lore that doesn't really help with as an introduction. I think that this is a good stopping point. I'm thinking of other videos I can make that are more specific in nature, like the organization of the Locust, Beast of Sarah and the Hollow, the weaponry of the Locust War, the shit that happens in games 4 and 5, various locations in smaller countries in both the COG and UIR territories, wild speculation about how the Cantus do that shit, if you know you know. There's a topic that you would like me to go over in depth on, Let me know in those comments down below, and keep your eyes peeled for more Gears of Lore videos right here on this channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Shout out my buddy Esri. He recently put out a music video for his album that's out on the November 13th. So if that's before this date or after this date this video goes up, keep an eye out for that. I just want to shout out when my friends do cool shit. Link in the description. Have a wonderful day.